In the heart of the Galactic Empire, where strict discipline and unquestioned loyalty rule, Earth's most notorious commando had fallen from grace. Once celebrated as a tactical genius, he was disgraced and discarded after a mission went catastrophically wrong. Labeled reckless and insubordinate, he became the subject of scorn and mockery among the highest ranks of Galactic Command. Yet, while the galaxy laughed at his downfall, a far greater threat was rising, one that would soon demand more than obedience. When the enemy struck hard and fast, Galactic Command found themselves on the brink of disaster. Reinforcements were delayed by bureaucracy and red tape, and defeat seemed inevitable. But then, without a single order, the disgraced commando stepped back into the fray. Ignoring protocol and defying authority, he led a daring counterattack that no one saw coming. What followed was a breathtaking display of courage and skill, forcing even his harshest critics to reconsider everything they thought they knew about loyalty, honor, and heroism. Fall from Grace Jack Rylan wasn't always a disgrace. Once he was Earth's most decorated commando, a man who had climbed through the ranks with unmatched skill, quick thinking, and relentless dedication. He was the go-to operative for the Galactic Command's most delicate missions, a specialist in infiltration, sabotage, and survival. His reputation was sterling, his record impeccable, until the incident at Drax's Prime. The mission was supposed to be routine: infiltrate a hostile alien outpost, gather intelligence, and sabotage their supply lines. But things went sideways. What happened inside that hostile world is still classified, but the official report blamed Jack for unauthorized actions that led to heavy casualties and mission failure. The details were murky, the evidence circumstantial, but Galactic Command wasted no time. Jack was court-martialed, stripped of his rank, and sentenced to solitary confinement aboard the orbital prison station, Valcor. The public statements from Galactic Command were cold and dismissive. Commander Vrax, a tall, imposing alien with cold blue eyes, openly criticized Jack as reckless and insubordinate, a liability to the entire mission structure. Galactic officers whispered behind his back, mocking the disgraced human who once was their pride. But Jack knew the truth was different. He'd made difficult choices, decisions that, if given more time or trust, could have turned the tide of battle. Instead, he was cast aside. The rising threat months passed. Galactic Command turned its attention to an escalating war on multiple fronts. A coalition of alien factions, united under the banner of the Krylax Empire, launched coordinated attacks on several key systems. The galactic forces were stretched thin, struggling to hold strategic planets. The officers convened endless meetings, debating strategy and waiting for reinforcements that never arrived quickly enough. Morale plummeted, and the fear of losing ground grew. The rigid command structure left little room for innovation or risky maneuvers. Orders came down from on high: follow protocol, wait for clearance, maintain formation. Meanwhile, aboard Valcor, Jack observed the unfolding chaos through intercepted communications. His mind, sharp as ever, raced through the scenarios. He saw the flaws in the strategy, the bureaucratic paralysis that was costing lives, and he knew that if he stayed confined, humanity's last chance would slip away. Breaking the chains one stormy night, the opportunity came. A power surge during a Krylax sabotage raid disabled Valcor's primary security systems. Seizing the moment, Jack fought his way out of his cell and commandeered a small shuttle docked nearby. His escape triggered alarms, but he was already en route to the front lines, bypassing every chain of command. Galactic Command was furious. He had broken protocol, endangered classified missions, and acted without orders. But Jack's only focus was survival and victory. As he arrived in the war zone, his presence was met with disbelief. Command officers refused to acknowledge him. Soldiers recognized him as a fallen hero, unsure whether to follow or arrest him. Jack didn't wait for permission. He formed a ragtag team of willing soldiers and local resistance fighters, training them in guerrilla tactics and rapid strikes against the Krylax supply lines. The turning point: Jack's unorthodox methods baffled Galactic Command, but quickly yielded results. The Krylax forces were thrown off balance, unable to predict the sudden, precise attacks that crippled their logistics and communication. Morale among Galactic troops surged. Reports filtered back to Commander Vrax, who had to swallow his pride as the human successes became undeniable. The disgraced commando was rewriting the rules of engagement, turning a losing war into a fight that could be won. However, not everyone was convinced. The Galactic Council debated whether to recall Jack or support his rogue campaign. The risk was immense. What if his insubordination led to catastrophe? But delaying action meant surrender, redemption, and reckoning. With the tide turning, Galactic Command reluctantly sanctioned Jack's continued operations, but under strict observation. Jack accepted the terms, knowing he had little choice. The final assault on the Krylax fortress world was brutal. Jack led from the front, using every skill honed in years of combat. The team faced overwhelming odds, but their synergy and Jack's leadership prevailed. In the aftermath, the Galactic Council publicly reinstated Jack's rank, acknowledging his valor and tactical genius. Commander Vrax, once his harshest critic, extended a hand of respect. Jack's journey from disgrace to hero became a legend across the galaxy, a testament to courage, conviction, and the power of breaking rules when the stakes are nothing less than survival. Chapter 6. Shadows of Doubt. As Jack's unconventional campaign gained momentum, the Galactic Command remained divided. In the polished halls of the Council, debates grew heated. Some leaders praised Jack's daring moves as the spark of hope the galaxy desperately needed. Others condemned his blatant insubordination, fearing that empowering one man outside the chain of command could unravel military discipline and set a dangerous precedent. Meanwhile, Jack and his unit operated deep behind enemy lines, moving like ghosts through hostile terrain. Each mission was a calculated risk, relying on stealth, surprise, and precise coordination. They sabotaged supply convoys, disabled communication arrays, and freed captured allies, striking blows that echoed across the Krylax war machine. But the psychological toll was undeniable. Jack's men were weary, some questioning if the man they followed was a hero or a desperate gambler. Whispers spread among the troops about the secret reasons behind Jack's disgrace. Rumors claimed he disobeyed orders to protect innocent civilians. Others said he had a personal vendetta. Jack never addressed the rumors. He focused on the mission, knowing that victory was the only truth that mattered. The Krylax Empire was not blind. They adapted quickly, learning to anticipate Jack's guerrilla tactics. They set a deadly trap on the volcanic moon of Zarnath, a key supply hub that Jack's team had repeatedly hit. This time, the enemy laid mines in the mountain passes, planted ambush squads, and reinforced their forces with elite warriors. Unaware of the trap's full extent, Jack led his unit into the fiery landscape, ready for a swift strike. Suddenly, the ground exploded beneath them. The team was caught in a hailstorm of plasma fire from all sides. Communications went dark. Several soldiers fell. Jack was separated from the group, forced to navigate the treacherous terrain alone. It was a brutal test of endurance and resolve. Using every ounce of his training, Jack slipped through enemy patrols, treated his wounds with field medicine, and scavenged supplies from fallen foes. His mind raced to regroup with his team, but the odds seemed stacked against. Chapter 8. Against all odds, Jack pressed on through the choking smoke and jagged rocks of Zarnath's volcanic surface, each breath burning his lungs. Alone and wounded, he relied on instinct honed over years of combat. Every shadow could conceal a Krylax scout. Every step could trigger a deadly trap. Yet surrender was not an option. The lives of his team and the fate of the war depended on him. Hours turned into an agonizing crawl. Using encrypted signals, Jack managed to send a brief distress beacon to the nearby Galactic forces, hoping to guide reinforcements. But he knew time was scarce. The Krylax were relentless, and reinforcements would take too long. He found shelter in the cavernous remains of a collapsed mining tunnel. There, beneath the glow of molten rock, Jack reviewed their mission objectives. Disrupt the Krylax war effort at all costs, buy time for the main Galactic fleet to regroup, and strike a decisive blow on the enemy's command network. Despite the weak odds, Jack's resolve hardened. Alone, he could still make a difference. The lone strike as dawn broke over the scarred landscape, Jack set out once more, not to flee but to strike. With limited resources and no backup, he planned a daring assault on the Krylax's communication tower atop Mount Dracos, a heavily guarded position critical to enemy coordination. Using stealth and guerrilla tactics, he slipped past patrols, disabling surveillance drones and neutralizing sentries with silent precision. Every step brought him closer to the heart of enemy operations. Reaching the tower's base, Jack planted explosives with meticulous care. The mission was simple but perilous. Destroy the tower and cripple the Krylax's ability to call reinforcements and coordinate their troops. As the charges detonated, a shockwave rippled.